Come here. Search.
Another of von Burgov's men. Another of von Burgov's men? But this one has a cross.
Off you go! Oh, much. It seems you're reasonable after all.
Mutt!
Was machst du? Grüß dich. What do you need?
I'll have a look at the... I'd like to do something about that.
Gut.
Do you accept?
That's quite a sum. Why? You'll Thank you, and take... Was willst
Show me. Word about the.
Why? You'll come. Das war ein guter.
God bless you.
I've heard you dye your own fabric.
I used to. I tried a few times, but I had to give it up. Troskovicei is on a hill, and there's not enough water for that. Why'd you ask?
I'd like to buy some pigment.
I see. Or perhaps I could find some leftover black.
Ah, damn. Look, I don't...
Is that so? What do you want it for, anyway?
Nothing important, really.
All right, whatever. But I'd hate to find out you painted on someone's house. You know what? If I scraped off some of that dry pigment from the edges of the bucket and mixed it with some lard, that could work. Those pigments are a magical thing, eh?
What do you mean?
For example, if you need blue, you can use blueberries or woad leaves. You put them in hot water with walnuts, good too, with the husks of unripe walnuts. The best way to make red is from madder root. And when you add alum or beeswing to the water, the colour gets a beautifully rich shade. Or you could just use plain old black elder. The berries, of course, but they're more for lighter shades. Oh, and privet's not too bad either. If you use its bark and alum, you get yellow. You can even use the leaves. They make a nice green, but it takes forever. But you know what's my favourite way of making yellow? Using dyer's broom or weld. You take a few nice stems, some leaves, a bit of alum, and you get yellow, as bright as a chick's feathers. And for so much cheaper than using saffron or iris, that's the main thing. Buckthorn makes a nice green, maybe the best of all. You use its fruit. They say it can also heal, but I've never tried that. The most important part is the stain, anyway. Like alum, for example. It can create all sorts of shades and give depth and richness to the colour. But even that won't help you if you don't know what to use for what colour. Sometimes you want the fruit, sometimes the bark, sometimes the root, or maybe the leaves. Too bad I don't dye fabric much anymore. But I see you're really into it. You know what? Take some of it for free.
My word. Thank you so much.
Oh, not worth mentioning. Just be careful not to stain yourself. Quality material like this doesn't wash off easily.
What do you want? Speak up or get lost.
What do you have? A word about the prop.
Sure.
What would you say to...
That's almost an accept. Very well. I hope you'll be. Satisfied, my friend. What can I do?
Excuse me,
Loads of people.
you haven't seen him then?
Sorry, even Bushka. So no.
What do you have? A word about the...
Sure.
Do you accept?
That sound. I thank you and take care.
I need something that'll put animals to sleep. Prokachka said you might know something.
Well, it's true. I used a concoction that will put even a startled mare to sleep in no time. I once accidentally drank some and slept for 3 days. But the recipe is an old blacksmith's secret. The kind you don't just give away.
Wouldn't you tell a fellow blacksmith? My dad was a swordsmith, and I used to help him a lot.
But you didn't pay much attention, did you now? Otherwise, you'd know the recipe by now, and you wouldn't be asking me.
Well, I don't want it just for the sake of it. I need to use it against the Zhelyov lot.
So, Prokachka and Obram are at it again. Blockheads, both of them. And the place was just getting really nice and quiet lately. Well, what the hell. Maybe if I help you out, they'll start trading punches sooner and get it all over with. Pay up, and I'll tell you the secret.
Thank you. How's this?
Well, if you offer a little bit... Aye, I could go for... Listen up, then. You take some poppy and thistle.
That doesn't sound...
What would you like?
I'll have a look at the...
Oh, well, what can you do?
I heard you could use a helping hand at the forge.
I could. My last 2 hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. Ah, what do they call you?
Henry.
I'm Radovan. You should know, Henry. The blacksmithing isn't for everyone. Have you done it before?
Yeah. I basically grew up in the forge. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Fucking steel. And let's get started. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above it. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. Won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? It's the color of straw, which is what you want. And you heated the whole thing up. Nicely done. Now you can go straight to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway.
You have a kind master, huh?
It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up. It's heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easy. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. The ring you want. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it. And the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right. Let's have a look. Very nice work. Your father taught you the trade well.
He'd certainly be happy to hear that.
If you carry on hammering as well as you did today, you've definitely got a job here. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
Where can I get materials?
You can buy some essentials from me. But if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. They can't afford it neither.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
You silly doggy.
Well, I'm about half done. I've almost got it done. Now I just have to temper it.
What are you here? It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semin, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semin that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovicei, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semin.
All right.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk...
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them.
You swine!
Do it!
Fuck yourself! Mercy! Spare me!
So this is where the merchant's wagon tipped over. Everything floating here must be his. Poor fella.
Only a blind man can't see it. Siggy's